All right.
Welcome to Talks Tuesdays, a series dedicated to empowering youth and families. This series is brought to you by STEP Foundation, Inc., where advocacy meets education for the betterment for young minds. Each month, we explore meaningful topics designed to inspire growth and spark creativity, and equip our listeners with tools they need to thrive. I'm Melanie Alvarez, your host and program assistant at STEP Foundation. This month, we're driving into powerful theme, New Year, New You. Whether it's setting meaningful goals, developing healthy habits, or embracing change, this is your time to reflect, reset, and plan for the future. Throughout January, we'll discuss practical tips and strategies for personal growth, helping you to take first steps toward becoming the best version of yourself. Let's turn resolutions into results and dreams into action. Over to you, Amaja.
Hi, everyone. So we're gonna get right into it. Our first question is, why is setting goals important for personal growth?
Oh, I like goal setting. Listen, I feel like goal setting is important to our personal growth because it gives us something to work towards, something to achieve. Um, I think aspirations are always good. Like we always have a dream, right? But how do we reach that dream? How do we reach that thing that we want to reach so high for? And setting goals is that visual to be able to reach the things that you set in front of you.
Plus, I think it holds you accountable.
Ooh.
Like you said, says, having a vision to go somewhere. Uh, you know, so a lot of people, I don't know, when it comes to doing things in life, it's easy to get distracted, right? And that comes from clarity. And when you don't have clarity, when I say clarity, I'm talking about within, like the internal clarity, perspective, decision making. And I actually posted it this morning on my Instagram. Corrupt perceptions corrupt decisions. So if you don't have a goal set and you don't have that vision, then you're probably going to have corrupt decisions. But if, like Sis says, if you have a visual and you can see it, now when you make those decisions, they're based on that and not something perceived that could corrupt or derail you towards your goals. So I definitely think having something written down, some kind of vision board, possibly to get to that goal, but definitely clarity. You have to have a clear mind in order to understand the vision and how to get there.
That's really good.
Come through with that vision board, Smith.
Mhm.
Where the donation plate? It's early. It's early. Come on now. We ain't got to wait till spring to get the donation plate out.
Lord. Look, he's trying to start us off early with the donation plate. Look.
And I'll just jump in and add, even if you don't have the wherewithal to make an entire board, having that list, right? Like just I think it helps and make it more accomplishable, more palatable to break things down. I love you mentioned, like, how do you get to that goal, whatever that goal is, right? So what are the smaller steps? What are the little things that you can do to move yourself further along the path to that goal? I'm a huge checklist girl. Like if all else fails, I got a checklist for it, and I know that I've done the things that I need to do to get to point A or whatever the case. And I like that. I love a vision board too, though, but I think sometimes it seems so daunting to make this larger thing where you can just write out a couple of small things to help you kind of plan what your next move is.
Doc, I love that you brought that up. Come on, Smith.
No. Go ahead, sis. I can wait.
Because look, Doc hit that one. Sometimes when you look at the vision board, and I think this is why a lot of people veer away from doing the vision board, right? The vision board is typically that long-term thing, like they're not looking at it as a short-term deliverable. And because it seems so far away and so out of reach, it almost feels unrealistic when they're making it. And so that vision board becomes that New Year's resolution, right? That one thing that we're going to talk about that we're going to do every single year. You may start off week 1 doing it, and then it's forgotten about the duration of the year. As where when you start to make them lists, I think it makes you feel accomplished when you can check something off and you can see that it's disappearing or that you're drilling down on it versus having that really big image in your face without having the little pieces added onto it. It makes it seem so much further out of reach. And I can see where there are people who love the vision board to have that long-term idea, and then also having the list where it makes that long-term a short-term as you're creating and going. So I love that was brought up.
And then what I was going to say, sis, because again, so I was talking to some young men a couple weeks ago, and they're ranged about, I don't know, 15, 16 to about 18. And we're help create a vision board for each of them. And so, like Doctor was saying, like the vision board is good, but then sometimes it can be daunting, especially again, if I go back to what I was saying about clarity. So all of their vision boards look almost exactly the same. It was a big house, it was a bunch of cars, it was images of money. There's nothing wrong with that. I didn't say it to them or anything, but I would say this, young folks, it's a process to get to those. It's a process to get to those things. Understanding the financial literacy part of obtaining a house and owning a house and keeping a house and getting a vehicle and these things. Yeah, you need a checkboard to get there, but you need a realistic checkboard. And again, I'm not trying to, sour anyone's dreams or anything, but there has to be a way. It's kind of like when you go shopping and you have a checklist, right? You're gonna get to the meat section and you're gonna see filet mignon, and then you're gonna see USDA grade A, steak. That's $4. You got to understand the checklist and make sure that you can, check it off as you're going. And here, take this, and I'm gonna shut up. My uncle told me this. He said, you can't live a champagne life on a 40-ounce budget. So understand that. You can't, consume all high and mighty if you don't have the means.
That's the truth. Listen, our elders had the words to live by as well. In the moment, we was like, what? But as we got older, it was like, that makes sense. It's true.
It puts the goals in order. If you have goals and they're in order, they're succinct and they're clear, then it helps when you start to put it all together.
I absolutely agree, bouncing off of what Smitty said. I feel like that process is really, it can be intimidating, to make this huge personal shift, even about like owning a home, you're thinking of it, or maybe, changing your lifestyle. It's like, it's about those baby steps that build that attainable goal. That's what makes you get to that point. I absolutely agree.
It's really good, guys. A lot of what you guys just said ties into the next question a bit. So my next question is, what are the biggest mistakes people make when setting New Year's resolutions? We already listed vision boards versus bullet point checklist goals, and things like that. But any other ideas?
I think one thing that people do often is try to change everything about themselves at one shot. Like, I'm going to work out every single day, and you've never worked out a day in your life. Like, I think that it makes it that much harder as opposed to setting a more realistic goal. Like, I'm just going to try and go once a week until I built up the stamina to now go twice a week, you know. And I think that it makes it more reasonable for you as for that individual to really actually achieve that goal and see change. Because if it's all or nothing, it becomes nothing real fast if all is so much more than you've ever been able to do or ever tried to do.
Yeah, they create too many like many at once without a clear plan, without achieving them.
I love that. I think the lack of clarity in that New Year's resolution is what makes it so hard to accomplish. Because like Doc said, you know, you go in and you say, I'm gonna exercise every day, but you ain't even start small. Can we just get to I'm gonna exercise once throughout the week? I'm gonna do it for 5 minutes out of the day.
Yeah, that's what I was going
Just get consistent. Just get
Right.
consistent with that first.
and that's what I was gonna say, sis. Like, don't go spend all this money on the gym membership. You know, wake up and do one push-up or put your hands up over your head for 10 seconds. You know,
I swear
walk around your neighborhood, you know.
yes, we can't just jump into the skillet when it's hot. You know what I'm saying? You gotta warm it up, right? And so what I want to say, like, I think to me, of course, is clarity, the vision board, having goals. Where people make mistakes, I think, is so they have National Quitters Day. It's a real thing, like hashtag National Quitters Day, because people make these resolutions, and they set the standard way too high for themselves. You know, I'm gonna run a marathon, but they can't even walk, you know, to the corner, and so they quit. Now it's easy to quit because one, if you haven't set goals before and you have a lifestyle of not holding yourself accountable, then it's easy to, because you're like, no one's looking at me. I'm not going to win any medals or anything, right? I think the biggest thing is holding yourself accountable and being truthful with yourself, whatever that goal is. You know, be truthful and don't give up so easy. That's why they have National Quitters Day, because it's easy. You know, most of the most successful people, they call it, I think they call embrace the suck. You got to embrace the suck. If you're going to run at 5 a.m., you're going to run at 5 a.m., whether it's 100 degrees or whether it's 0 degrees. It's commitment, you know, and just don't give up. And then the last thing is, it's a goal to me is a lifestyle. If your goal is to you know, I don't know, lose 100 pounds, then losing 100 pounds is a lifestyle. It's not a thing. It's not a thing you're doing. It's a lifestyle. That's what you do. If you want to write a book, your book is the lifestyle. It's your life. It's what you're doing. You don't do it for 15 minutes whenever you feel like it. So goals are a lifestyle. It has to be part of you and who you are. When you go to meet somebody and you, hey, what do you do? Hey, my name is you know, DeAndre, and I'm a up and comer barber. And I hold free, you know, barbershops on the weekend whenever I can. It's a lifestyle. Goals are a lifestyle. And that to me, that's how you set up for not failing.
And that plays back into mindset, right? A lot of people have to change the way they look at setting goals. And that's what, when we come into every new year, I'm like, what's our word for the year? And then we play into that word. Like, setting people, I swear it's a mind thing, literally. People hear the word New Year's resolution and automatically it becomes this daunting thing because, oh, let me go put all the things and make all the plans to make myself better. And then you get National Quitters Day.
So again, let's just be really transparent and let's be here. Let's be mindful and be intentional, because we're trying to share some experience, some lived experience. And it's easy to say this and that. but I will throw this out there to anyone. I've quit a couple times in my life. Well, more than a couple. Let me just be honest, right? Because one, I didn't have the determination. One, I wasn't realistic with my goal. So I don't want people to think, or young folks to think, that I come on here and I just talk without having a lived experience, without quitting on myself. Quit on myself many a times. You know, one of my, and this is not to get off subject, but I want to make sure that I connect with young folks to make you know that I'm a real person. I'm not talking about something, magical. You know, in high school, I had 3 D1 offers to play basketball at D1: Boston College, Providence, and Georgetown. And I gave up on myself. I was like, I don't belong there. I don't belong there. And so I gave up. And then I walked on at San Jose State. And I remember my first day of practice, D1. You know, I'm trying to get to the NBA. I get to my first day of practice and I see the center was like 7 feet tall. I was like, man, I'm out of my league. And I quit. I went to one practice and I quit. And I gave up on my dream. I wanted to be an NBA basketball player my entire life since I knew what it was. And I quit on myself. Now, I don't hold any regrets about it. It's the life. That's what it is. But I want you guys to know that when I talk to you, I'm talking real. I'm not talking from made. I'm telling you, if you about it, what they say, if you about it, be about it. Because everybody quits. It's it's human trait, possibly a flaw, if you will.
I think the thing that differentiates the moments when you quit to the moments where you succeed and achieve is honestly the passion too. Like, I feel like you have to choose goals that you're passionate about, that you really are motivated for, because nobody else is going to push you to do that thing but you. And so you have to find that thing that you really mean it when you say, I want to do this thing. Because I love that you shared that, Smitty, because while that probably was a real struggle for you at different times in your life where you're like, man, did I make the right decision? But you also have to recognize that there are going to be opportunities that come up. And if that's not what you're really passionate about, if you don't feel like you can push through and wake up and do all the, I can't even imagine what those athletes have to go through, because I've never been an athlete, not even gonna pretend. I think that, but for me, like, that's the difference. Like, what is the thing that it doesn't matter how many times you do it, you still love it? What's the thing that you're driven to do? Whatever that drive looks like for you, that's the thing that you need to be looking at. How do I hone that? How do I improve that? How do I make that more of my goal? Because to your point, you could say, I want to do a billion things, but if you don't have the motivation to make that thing happen, you will fail.
And then with that, it's also because, Doc, you're so wonderful. You always bring you hit me with the creative. It's also about sacrifice, right? Your goals. What are you willing to sacrifice to get there? I wasn't in the right frame of mind. I didn't have the clarity to understand what I needed to sacrifice. When you're trying to do something, you're gonna have to sacrifice some things, because everybody ain't trying to go the same way you're going, and I think that's one of the things that lead a lot of people to National Quitters Day, because a lot of people ain't going to the gym at 4:30 in the morning, so what are you willing to sacrifice for that goal?
That was really good. I agree. I think too, to add, depending on the goal, sometimes we can start things before the new year. Like, I think sometimes there's an emphasis on it has to be right at the new year. But if it's something like going to the gym, like, you can start that if you have that idea in like December, like, so when January 1st hits, you're not like, oh, now I got to get in the gym and I got to like do 50 push-ups, and like, you're just overwhelmed, like, you can build up to it. And doesn't always have to be setting a new goal right at the start of the year. Sometimes it happens that way, but
I love that, Maya. Who had that quote, y'all? Why put off tomorrow what you can start today?
I don't know, but it's a good one. I don't know.
some philosopher. Some philosopher. And, you know, and that's one thing I put on Instagram, probably January 2nd or something. You don't need no special day. You don't need no event. You don't need no fireworks. You don't need no hoopla to start to be great. You can do that right now at this very minute. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to wait for nobody. When my oldest son was having our first grandchild, he called me. He was about to graduate college. He was like, "Pops, man, I just don't feel like it's the right time." I said, "Man, it ain't never no right time to have no child. You could be married with 15 houses, a trust and a business, and you've been in a relationship for 30 years. It ain't no perfect time to have no child. It ain't no perfect time to decide to be great. You wake up and 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you done finish your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you feel like, you know what? I feel like being great today. Start right there."
I love it. Be great then. Start then. For
Come
sure.
on, PB&J. Look.
Hey,
I love
hey,
that.
PB&J will take you a long way, baby. They fill you up.
I was like, PB&J hits. What you talking about?
Well, come on now.
Or wait, I think the young people say that slaps. Is that what it is? I think it's supposed to be slaps.
Yes,
now.
that's loud. That's loud. Yeah.
We
Look, wait.
throwing our age out. We
Man,
throwing
cooking
our
right
age.
now. He cooking. Okay.
Yeah,
Look.
we throwing our age out right now. Hey, but listen. So, okay, let's tie it all together. Let's tie it all together to your question about the mistake of setting goals and what. Are you willing to eat PB&J for a year straight to get to your goal? See, here we don't. As adults, we tell young people, "Hey, be successful. You can do these things. Get a vision board. Get a checklist. Do these great things. You have it." But where the disconnect is the details. The details. Waking up every day with the mindset, going through the daily motions, the boring motions, the repetition, eating you're gonna eat a PB&J because you ain't got no money. And you're gonna eat a PB&J tomorrow because you ain't got no money. And you know you're gonna PB&J next month. But are you willing to accept that to get to the goal? And PB&J has fortified many humans to get to their goal. Are you with? And again, I think we just have to have the clarity. Back to the beginning. What's your mindset? What's your mindset? And are you willing to sacrifice? I
Ooh,
just had peanut butter
sacrifice.
and
That
I just
sacrifice is real.
I just had a bagel with peanut butter on it. So I'm on my PB&J kick right now.
I love it. I love it.
Okay. So let's see. My next question is, what's the best way to handle setbacks when working toward a goal?
I feel like you should expect them. Expect at least one, probably more. But I think what happens is people get so derailed by the first setback if they aren't braced for the fact that something's likely going to happen. So just I feel like the biggest thing is just know that something's probably going to go wrong and start planning ahead of time. Like if something goes wrong, what's my backup plan? How do I get back on track? Because it's not to say that you have to completely veer off the path. It just means you need to go around it a little bit. You might maybe need to backtrack a little bit and re-navigate, but it's literally just expecting something to go wrong. Now, if it doesn't, great. Wonderful, gravy. It's so weird that, so rare that happens though. So just expect something to go wrong and know, okay, I'm going to have to figure my way out of this and be ready for that.
Absolutely. I think planning ahead is super important of like thinking about what might possibly go wrong and how you can like what you can do to bounce back from that. I feel like also those setbacks sometimes they make accomplishing that goal that much sweeter. All that hard work and really just comes out, you come out stronger in the end. So sometimes, even though it's hard in that moment, you just try to find the positive? Like, what lesson can I learn from this? How can I use this to better myself, kind of thing?
And so I want to add, because I think everything that we're talking about when we talk about goals is the individual mindset, right? And I keep going back to clarity. So again, if you don't know me, you probably don't, you can't tell, but I'm a deep believer in Stoics. If you don't know what Stoics are, Google them. And one of the great Stoics was Seneca, right? And I have it right here because I read it because it's a way to stay focused on the grind and on the goal. I'm just going to read this to you because it answers this question. This is Seneca talking. Now, this is Seneca. Now, if you don't know Seneca and you don't understand the Greek mythology and all of these different things, this is a long time. I wasn't even born. Like my great grandparent, nobody was born, right? Well, anyway, so, and I quote, "Let all your efforts be directed to something. Let it keep that end in view. It's not activity that disturbs people, but false conceptions of things that drive them mad." In a nutshell, you can't worry about things. Like Doctor said, prepare for them, expect them to happen, and then they won't drive you mad, right? It's just like if you're driving in your car, you know a stoplight is coming. You know that. It's not a surprise. It's not like that stop sign is going to walk right out in front of you out of nowhere. You know there's a stop sign right there. That's what goals are. There's going to be something in your way. My mother used to say, "Mark my word, Smith. Mark my word, Smith." So I'm telling you, mark my word. This is expected, like Doctor said. Expect it. Don't let it drive you mad, because that's a false conception to think it's going to be a smooth road.
Yeah, I love that. Expect it and then embrace it. Because I think, like Doctor said, a lot of times people get derailed by the smallest setback that pops up, and it's because they have a hard time embracing that it's a change. Change is constant. Change is always going to happen, and we have to be prepared for whatever change is going to come. But I love. Look, y'all better come through. Hold on. Y'all, do we put the money in the collection plate now? Look, look. Oh, I'm hearing money in the collection plate. Okay, money in the collection plate.
I think they pass it around a couple times within the service, so I mean, it don't.
That's really good. My next one, let's see. What's the role of habits in achieving larger personal goals? Let's talk about that.
I feel like Smitty already said you have to really be about your goal. Like you have to really, like that where he mentioned eating the peanut butter over and over again. That's because you know that you need to be frugal in this moment so that you can get to your long-term place, your long-term whatever. And so habit is literally the foundation of that. Like you have to build the habit of being okay, first of all, okay with making that decision over and over and over again and continuing to do it for yourself because you know that it's going to get you where you want to be.
Oh, you in my ballpark now. You're in my ballpark. I've been coaching youth football for a long time. And the one thing with 7 and 8-year-olds is you got to brainwash them into thinking that they can run and tackle a tree and pull that tree out the ground. Now, I done got a few 8-year-olds to try it. I ain't going to name them, but, when you start having that belief in yourself that you can conquer the world, nothing's impossible. But what has to happen is, and I'll quote, I've been saying this, I think I've been coaching since like the early 90s. Some of y'all ain't even been born. I've been coaching, and I've been on this quote from Aristotle. Again, if you don't know Aristotle, check out Aristotle. But he got a quote I live by. I have it on the wall. Here it is. And I quote, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but an habit." You can ask any of my players. I don't care if they're 8 right now. I don't care if they're 20 with a beard and got a family. They know Coach Smith is going to tell them excellence is a habit. You are what you do repeatedly, and how you do anything is how you do everything. I'm gonna say that one more time for you. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if you ain't serious about it, it just ain't gonna happen. Because I tell my 8-year-olds this: when you brush your teeth in the morning, you better be the best teeth brusher on your block. When you tie your shoes, you better be the best tie shoer of all time. Because excellence is a habit. Now I done turned some kids who ain't never played football into some bad dudes on the football field because they start to understand and they believe excellence is a habit. I had one mom tell me they was in Walmart and her son, who was my ex-player, yelled out, "Mom, excellence is a habit." You everywhere you are, you in the bathroom, you in school, you on the bus, you walking. Excellence is a habit. It is what you do, and how you do anything is how you do everything. I'm feeling myself, y'all. I'll tell you, it was that peanut butter bagel I just ate. And I just got out the gym, so I got extra dopamine and serotonin going on. I'm just saying. Ain't that right, Doc? Is it serotonin?
Come on, Smith.
It's serotonin.
I think that's really good. Really good about the habits. I guess to expand a little more out to like support, how does accountability from a partner or group improve goal outcomes?
I feel like having that somebody to tap into helps us so much more. And a lot of times it's also that mindset, how you look at it. Because there are people who want the person to, hey, message me when you've done X, Y, and Z. But then there's the people who are saying, do it with me. So now we're doing it together. So it depends on the type of person you are and what you really want that outcome to be. But I think accountability and having other people, like friend groups, or sometimes if your goal was, say, you wanted to just lose 5 pounds in the month, finding that group of people who are making fitness goals, because their goal is similar to yours, even though it's not identical to yours. If you find people with those similarities and they understand it, it makes it a lot easier. So I do feel like having accountability groups and people with you helps to make whatever goal you set a lot smoother and more feasible.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think there's something to having a person who has your back on the day when you don't feel like you can have your own, because we already talked about, mindset and motivation, but everybody has a bad day. And who's that person that's going to help you remind yourself why this was your goal, why this is the thing that you want so much? And it doesn't always have to be a person that's doing a similar thing, but I feel like sometimes there's two levels of advocate of support or that you would need, and one of them is going to be your person who, no matter what, whether they're doing it with you or not, is that person that will check you and help you check yourself. And then the other side of it is having people who have similar goals, or who are doing like-minded things to help motivate you in that kind of communal way. But I think having that one person or two people that you can, like, I have one person in particular who every week during my dissertation checked in with me. How's it going, sis? What do you need this week? Where you at? Or if I'm telling her I didn't get any writing done, what's going on? Like, what's happening? It was really good. Because remember, you said you wanted this. Remember, and so it was absolutely essential to my finishing and finishing strong. And I think that I know that it would have been a different story. I won't say I wouldn't have finished, but I feel like it would have definitely taken me more time. I would have definitely had more moments where I sat in that stewing and frustration and whatever was going on in the other realms of things that was taking me away from my goal, if I didn't have her in my ear, like, nah, shake that off. You keep it moving. Like, you told me what you wanted, and I'm gonna make sure you get there. Like, she was the best trainer, or pump it up person, hype man, hype woman that I could imagine. And I think that that's what you need. Find your hype person. Like, who is your hype person? And make sure they're in your corner and know what your goals are.
First, I got to jump in because you know me, I pick up on words. Young folks, if y'all don't know what a dissertation is, go Google it, because we need more people with dissertations that look and sound like us. So understand what a dissertation is. I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. So I got to do my own research. But that's phenomenal that you've been introduced to dissertation. And everybody's, it's about community. Humans are intimate by nature. It's just who we are as humans. We are intimate. We thrive on being in community. Now I know there's extroverts and introverts. That's the deeper part of nuances of humans. But for the most part, on the larger scheme, we are intimate. We need community. And I think we talked about it before in the past when we was talking about taking care of elders and whatnot. Like, you need that support system. We need a support system. Hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You going? Yeah, I'm going. You ain't going? Oh, okay. And then I will say another key to this is too, with the goals and then having the support system, is to give yourself some grace. So let's just say you set a calendar for 30 days and you're going to go 15 days to the gym and you have your support system, right? I think it would be smart and beneficial to share with your support system, hey, of those 15 days, I'm gonna need 1 day off. You know what I'm saying? So if I tap in and I didn't go, I don't need you to dog me out. I just need you to support me, remind me, like, okay, this is your day. This is, because you mark down on these days that you want to go. I'm gonna give you that grace, take that day off, and then we get back on it. Because now you give yourself some leeway. And it's not like the end. Oh, I missed a day, I can't start again. Yes, you can. We worked it in. Like, we seen that stoplight was coming. Here comes the stoplight. We stop, we get back on the gas and go. So yeah, absolutely. Support system rule.
Come on, Smith. See, if I didn't already have the money in the collection plate, I'd be throwing it up there again. Look.
For sure, for sure. I think that's really good. Let's see. I think these are good tips. And I'll say from personal experience, setting goals for me can be hard because sometimes my brain will go to like, okay, what if I can't do it or what if I don't do it? So the next question is, how can people overcome fear of failure when setting big goals?
Let me ask you this. So I'm going to ask you this to answer your question. What is failure? Somebody introduced that word to us. Somebody introduced the word failure to us. And now we live on that word. We have young people running around feeling like a failure. What is failure? And I'm being real, because it's the words, the perception that we allow to destroy our confidence and what we're trying to do. Failure could be, I start again. Failure could be, something happened, so I had to pivot. Failure could be, you know what? I was going to go this way, but that stop sign that I knew was there, well, now I got a detour. Now I got to make a right at the stop sign and go all the way around to get back on my path. So we have to really understand and be mindful of the words we use, because words will destroy us. Words are powerful. Failure, you know how many times I've failed? Well, in the traditional sense of the word, but now I'm at a point where I don't fail. I'm sorry. I refuse to accept that I fail. I've learned, I've evolved, but I ain't failed. And I do that purposely because I'm not going to be a subject to somebody else's description of what their, them not accomplishing something is. So, and I'm not trying to be all high and mighty right now to answer that question, but I think when we ask questions like that, what is failure? Well, then you have to figure out what failure is, because I just don't look at it that way.
I feel like you
Just take
taught
it
a
as a
lesson,
learning
though.
set.
I feel like, and I love that, though. It's so important for people to understand how it's not a failure unless you defined it as such. And so I love that, like, to use a therapeutic term, it's called a reframe, where you choose how you're going to look at this thing. You choose the perspective and lens. So you reframe it. In society might call it failure, but I'm gonna say I learned something here. I'm gonna call it a pivot. I'm gonna call it a reroute or whatever, because again, that negative connotation doesn't, it's not the end of your story if you choose it not to be. And so I love that you said that, Smitty. That was fantastic.
I'm trying to be like you, sis. I'm gonna work on a dissertation.
Hello, Vic.
Listen, we need it. We need, as you said, we need more Black men for sure out here with PhDs. And for those, I'll just give a little Cliff's notes. A dissertation is a large paper that you complete when you are seeking a doctorate degree. And so at the end of that doctorate, you generally, to complete the doctorate, to get the doctorate, you have to complete a dissertation. It's a large research paper. We'll just call it that. It's basically 100+ page book that I've written that sits on my bookshelf collecting dust currently.
I know 2 people with dissertations I'm proud to announce, and one is on the screen.
I love that. Do we have time for one more question, or are we about to one more? Okay. My last question will be, what strategies help people stay motivated when progress feels slow?
I think again
I
that goes
feel
back
like,
to perspective.
sorry, go ahead.
No, go Maya. I was just reiterating the perspective thing that Smitty's been saying, because it's so important, because your view matters most. And so who defines what slow progress is?
Yeah, absolutely. I also wanted to kind of bounce back to what we were saying earlier about how helpful it is to have a support group, whether it's that one person or that circle of friends, or even if it's an online group. There's, clubs everywhere for every kind of thing. I think that keeping someone on your side, knowing that they have your back is really what can keep you pushing on a day where you want to push yourself.
I agree.
I
I'll
love
tell
slow
you.
growth.
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
Look, I love slow growth. I feel like sometimes when we move so fast, we lose sight of the lesson in between. And I feel like it's because, like, by nature, right, we are conditioned to just be on go. And when we slow ourselves down and we slow down, right, where that progress is, we learn a lot more along the way. I feel like when we move so fast, like, it's just, I don't know, I feel like it's not as, how can we put it, Doc? Oh, there it is.
I was
It's
literally
not
putting in the chat.
sustainable.
I feel
Yes.
like sometimes if it's too fast, it's not sustainable, right? Like
Yes.
you can't maintain that level of speed often. And sometimes
Right.
that's the problem. Like I'd rather you have some progress, slow, consistent progress,
Yes.
than you get it real fast and then you can't keep that up. You get burnt out, And so it's so important to understand that some progress is better than no progress for sure. And also, but gauging what's realistic, like what's going to make sure that you keep moving. Because if you are so overwhelmed by how much you're doing to try and make this progress thing happen, you're going to hit a wall eventually and not be able to get anything done. So
yes.
I'm gonna say this. You want to know when you start tripping on progress and it's coming slow? Throw that calendar out the window. Throw that calendar out the window. That's our biggest problem. We worried about other people's time. Oh, I was supposed to. Oh, my friend, they got a house and a car. They got married, and that my mom and dad was married and had a house when they was 20, and my
I tell my
grandfather owned
students
his
all
own
the
business
time,
at
Smitty, whose
15.
timeline are you on? Like, what's
Exact. Throw that
happening?
calendar out the window and do you at your time and your speed. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what? Everybody ain't ready to hit their goal when they supposed to. Everybody ain't ready. You think you are. You think you want to be an entrepreneur and own your own business, but you ain't ready, because if you did get it, you probably fail. And there's that word. But you wouldn't succeed because there's some things you probably don't know about that business. There's probably some indirect things about finances and employee healthcare and all these other things about running the business that you just ain't ready for yet. You know what I'm saying? Your time to be successful on your goal is your time, not nobody else's time. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. Throw that calendar out the window. You know what I'm saying? It's because it don't matter about nobody else. It matters about you. Now, if you look at all of these, there's a show that used to be on, I don't know if it's still on, How the Lottery Ruined My Life.
Ooh,
They
yeah.
won all this money. You know what I'm saying? And people, you can ask people nowadays, I'm to this day, oh man, if I win $1 million, I do this, I do that. Man, look here. If you ain't ready for $1 million, you gonna be broke within the hour. You know what I'm saying? Because one, you don't know how to say no.
Yep.
Two, you don't know how to invest. You know what I'm saying? So again, throw the calendar out the window. Your progress is your progress on your time. Simple as that. Don't compare yourself to other people. Grass ain't green on the other side. They got just fake grass. I'm growing real grass. You know what I'm saying? That? So you thinking the grass is green on the other side, and they got that fake rollout grass that's plastic that is destroying the ozone. When you over here harvesting your grass, you seeding it, you watering it, you filling it, you progress, you growing the grass for sustainable. Didn't doctor say that earlier? It ain't sustainable. You want to be sustainable.
Come on, Smith. Look,
Just saying.
this has been so awesome. Look, I love it. I love it. I love it. Look, like I said, if I didn't already have this collection plate up here, Smith, I'll be throwing this collection plate up again for you. Look, y'all better come through. Look, y'all did that today. Look, what a great welcome back to the new year. So that being said, y'all, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight as we embrace the theme of New Year, New You. Starting fresh isn't just about making resolutions. It's about creating meaningful goals, building healthy habits, and embracing your growth. Whether you're planning for the year ahead, reflecting on your journey, or stepping into new opportunities, these things that we discussed help you build a life full of purpose and progress. So let's make this year one to remember. So before we go, don't forget, you guys, to check out our exciting events at Steps Foundation this month. We're excited about what's happening within our programs as we're focusing this month on everything career readiness, equipping students with skills and confidence to be able to excel in their future professions. And if you're a current or incoming high school student, we have some incredible news because our youth program ambassador applications for the 2025-2026 school year are now open. So this program is all about leadership, advocacy, and making an impact within the community. As an ambassador, you'll have the chance to empower, inspire, and lead within the community. To learn more about this, check out the upcoming information session dates on our social media or website. Applications are open until April 15th, so don't wait to start your journey towards leadership. You can find all details by visiting www.stepsfoundation.org or following us on social media at Steps Foundation Inc. Thank you guys for spending time with us as we explore ways to create a new year, new you. And remember, every day is a chance to start fresh, build better habits, and work towards the life that you've always imagined. Together, let's make this year one of growth, purpose, and achievement. And we can't wait to see how you take what you've learned and turn it into action. Again, stay connected with us by visiting our website. And until next time, you guys, take care, and we will see you on the next Talk Tuesday. Good night, everybody.